This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 2088. 10 Frugal Wedding Ideas, Part 1, by Jessica of the Fioneers.com. And I'm your host and personal finance enthusiast, Diana Merriam. I have a bit of a longer post, so I'll read the first half today and then finish the rest for you tomorrow. So with that, let's dive into Part 1 and start optimizing your life. 10 Frugal Wedding Ideas, Part 1, by Jessica of the Fioneers.com. Corey and I just had our 13th wedding anniversary. I guess this means that we're officially an old married couple now. Kidding aside, I always like to reflect on big milestones. As I reflect back on our wedding day, I realize that both the moment we said I do and the planning process to get to that moment set a foundation for us to this day. The process of planning our wedding was a true reflection of who we are and our values. We wanted to have a beautiful day that we could spend with close family and best friends and not break the bank in the process. I'm lucky that my parents were in a financial situation to support our wedding. They provided us with a budget of $15,000, and anything we didn't spend, we got to keep. This was a genius move on their part. Since we got married right after college, our first opportunity to spend a large amount of money had guardrails and an incentive to spend less. Our wedding day was beautiful, and we embraced a money-saving mindset and optimized almost everything. This set a strong foundation for starting our financial life together, and more recently, getting on the same page regarding financial independence. 10 Frugal Wedding Ideas. For our 13th anniversary, I'd love to share our 10 best frugal wedding ideas. Number 1, location, location, location. Typically, the largest wedding cost is the venue. People often spend thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. Some surveys say the average cost of a wedding venue is between $12,000 to $14,000. We chose to do our wedding in my aunt and uncle's backyard for free, cutting down on one of the largest costs. My aunt and uncle live on a property in rural Michigan that is absolutely stunning. This is no surprise given that their hobbies are gardening and outdoor art. They've been featured in Better Homes and Gardens, so when they offered to host our wedding for free, we jumped at the chance. Number 2, keep your guest list to the most important people in your lives. Another large cost is the catering and event rentals, such as tables, chairs, linens, etc. If you can limit the number of guests, you can keep costs lower. It wasn't too challenging to keep our guest list short. Corey's family lived across the country, and we chose to do a separate reception open house for his extended family and friends. We also went to college in Tennessee, so only our closest friends actually traveled the distance to Michigan to attend. Because of these factors, we were able to easily keep our guest list to around 60 attendees. Number 3, instead of buying a dress, consider having one made. I knew exactly what kind of dress I wanted. I was delighted when we found out that a family friend who is also a seamstress made wedding dresses. I chose the pattern. We went together to the fabric store to choose all the fabrics and other materials. At the end of it, I had a custom gown that was made exactly for me, and it cost me $300 since she only charged me for materials and time. When I think about how the average cost of a wedding dress in the United States is around $1,800, I realized that mine was a steal. Number 4, design your own invitations. Invitations tend to be a smaller wedding expense and typically cost around $530. The best thing that you can do to cut costs on invitations is to design them yourself. We feel like we have enough of a design eye that we design the invitation ourselves. We bought the paper that we wanted from a wholesale distributor. Luckily, my mom has a friend who ran a print shop nearby. Because we were only printing in black and white, he was willing to print our invitations for us for free since the cost was negligible. Honestly, I have no idea how much our wedding invitations cost since it was such a low expense and much less than the average. Number 5, buy bulk flowers. According to The Knot, the average cost of wedding flowers in 2021 was over $2,300. Luckily, we did not need to spend much on decorations because we chose to do our ceremony and reception in a beautiful outdoor setting. We did have flowers for bouquets, table centerpieces, and boutonnieres. There were two things that allowed us to keep our spending on flowers low. First, I was very lucky to have an artistic friend who offered to do our flower arrangements as a wedding gift, as long as we bought the flowers. She had done some floral arrangements previously, so I knew she did good work. We bought bulk flowers wholesale through Costco for a fraction of the price of getting them from a florist. Number 6, hire an up-and-coming photographer. Capturing the memories of our wedding day was very important to us, so we wanted to make sure we hired a great photographer. We knew a woman who specialized in wedding photography who charged around $2,500 to $3,000. We loved her work, but we knew we didn't want to spend that much money. We did some research and found that her assistant photographer was in the process of starting his own wedding photography business. We were able to hire him at a fraction of the cost. For photography, we paid $1,000 for him and another assistant photographer to be there for our full wedding day, from getting ready to the end of the reception. They even threw in a bonus engagement shoot, which we did a few months before the wedding. Number 7, hear that on tomorrow's episode. You just listened to part 1 of the post titled 10 Frugal Wedding Ideas by Jessica of Fioneers.com. What a timely episode for me, as I've just started thinking about wedding planning. We have a lot of time since our wedding date is June 1st, 2024, but it has been helpful to start thinking about how we want to go about it. If you've been listening for a while, you know that I produce a huge party about money called the Economy Conference. This is a $100,000 production for over 500 people that I put my entire heart and soul into. While I know for many people, planning a wedding is a huge to-do, but for me, it just feels like not that big of a deal. We're keeping it to 50 guests, so I think that's the thing that will save us the most on costs. And we're looking at renting out one of those lavish Airbnbs that advertise themselves for small weddings. I've seen some great options ranging from $600 to $1,200 per night here in Ohio, as well as in Kentucky. We're not doing a wedding party and bridal shower and many of the things that drive up costs. We're basically just looking at this as a big party. We'd like to have a live band and some amazing photography, but we don't plan to spend lavishly on much else. I also like the Costco idea for flowers, and I think we'll opt for digital invitations. I had a friend that did this and it seemed way more efficient. I'm probably being unromantic about this, but in my heart and my mind, I'm already married and fully committed to my guy. So to overcomplicate a party to celebrate with our friends seems unnecessarily stressful. We're investing a lot more time and energy into our relationship versus wedding planning. That should do it for today. Have a happy rest of your day and a great weekend. And I'll see you on the Saturday show tomorrow, where we'll finish up this post and where your optimal life awaits.